Good evening. It is Wednesday, June the 16th, about 8:20 p.m. This is meteorologist Shay Gibson of Leading Edge Weather giving you the first official forecast for the summer Sailstice race. We did a preliminary on Monday night. Looks like things haven't changed very much, which is good. We'll go into some detail. We won't go into as much detail as last time. I think we covered a lot of ground, but just sort of look over a few things. So here's the sailing instructions, registration, everything. This whole event is sponsored by Ashley Yachts. So it begins on June the 18th. Race starts at 3 p.m. at the CYC starting line. So that's 1500 and on Friday. So the sailing instructions and courses are here. The final course will be decided tomorrow night at the skippers meeting. So hope to see you there at 6:30. Um, Other than that, let's go ahead and just dive in, take a look at what's going on right now. We've had a series of storm events the last couple few days. In fact, the last couple of weeks. Yesterday being pretty much the climax. Tonight we did have some storms as well, but not as severe without all the hail that we had last night and lightning, quite a bit of lightning as well. But um, one thing we have a front that's over the coast and pushing off. We also have another front that's diving down. Just offshore is another front. We're sort of pinched in between right now. This front right here is the one that we're going to be watching for the next day or so as it very slowly kind of traverses the coastline and just lingers over. Now, this front is dry. You can't even really see it that well in visible satellite, but we do expect this to sort of slowly fizzle over time. It's not really going to be a big rainmaker. We may trigger a few afternoon storms, isolated storms tomorrow. But overall, it looks like tomorrow and Friday become more of a drier pattern, even into Saturday, without all the storm activity. So there's actually low percentages of afternoon showers and storms. And mainly that might be limited to just inland along the sea breeze front where some of the cumulus clouds pile up. So that's good news for the race. So it looks like it'll be a clean start on Friday. Let's talk about let's look at the surface map again. Here we are. We're seeing where we're pinched in between these two fronts, one weaker one to our north, which is more of a backdoor type front, and then the one to our south or just off the coast with some small embedded low pressures. That's causing a few little tweaks in the wind field here and there. As we go in time, we go through tomorrow. We see that front lingering along the coastline once again. This is going to be the one to watch right here as it just sort of lingers. It's going to weaken the winds overall, and then as we get into Friday, or I'm sorry, Thursday tomorrow afternoon, we see that front just edging offshore and then backing into the coast again as we get overnight Thursday. Now, by the time we get to close to race start, we're going to have a somewhat of a front. It's going to be more like an inland trough setup where we just get a little bit of like clouding and just it's sort of like a quasi front, if you will. And that's going to eventually fade. This high pressure is going to build in the Atlantic and start producing a southerly flow up into the coastline. And this is what the forecasts have been pretty good about reading this default coastal high is what I like to call it, where we get a ridging process along the coast and we get that southerly flow just kind of building up into from heat fluxing. And so that's what to be expected. As we go into time, we see that high expands eastward and actually starts to become a full grown I'm sorry, not homegrown, but a fully robust Bermuda high pressure. And that'll be out here, looks something like this. And then we'll have that banking into the coastline, ridge axis to our south, southerlies, southwesterlies starting to come into the picture as we get into Friday night and into Saturday morning. We'll probably see another, maybe some westerly land breezes. We see this high right here over the northeastern Gulf of Mexico by Saturday morning. This may prompt some west or even northwest land breezes in the morning overnight. So looks like with some southerly flow into Friday night and then backed by some possible westerly land breezes. Now, what the speeds of those going to be has yet to be determined, but I do think we may see a little bit of nocturnal jetting just from some of the inland troughing overnight. Maybe not very much, but it may bleed off. Let's take a quick look at some forecast points. I'm just going to pick Folly North in here. We could go offshore, but that's a little further north in latitude, so I'm going to pick something closer to us. And just as a forecast point here. So as you get into Friday during the start, looks like there's a lot of model agreement right around the start time for southerly winds increasing up towards the 10 to 14 knot ranges. And as we go into the evening, we do expect that to come up even more. So it looks like the sea breezes are going to fire off later in the afternoon and into the evening. And we're looking at even possibly 12 to 16 knots as we get into the evening. And then with a sort of a south-southwest or even southwest tilt overnight into the early morning hours. This is sort of the time to start watching where we're going to see that turn, those westerly land breezes coming off the land. So sometime after 2 a.m. when these sort of south-southwest jets burn off, we tend to get that turn, and the NAM 12 is seeing it right here. Also looks like GFS or the CMC, I'm sorry, is showing that as well. So, this is going to be the time to start watching right here where those westerly winds are going to occur. They may hold through the morning a little while longer, but as we get into Saturday, we see the winds start to pick back up again by late morning afternoon. Most folks should be done by then. So we're looking at more of a westerly turn. It may be something to fight against coming back through the jetties as you finish the course out through the inner jetties to Charleston. But for the most part, it looks like a pretty straightforward southerly flow that sort of veers south-southwest through the night, but it has some decent speeds on it. So hopefully everybody can make some decent grounds. As far as wave heights, we're looking at, well, hold on, this thing always has a mind of its own. If I push stop, it wants to keep going after I leave it alone for a couple minutes. But we'll go forward into the day. It looks like pretty solid, 1 to 2 feet. When we get offshore, it's more like 2.5 feet from some of the short period wind swell that we're going to see throughout the day through Friday and even into Friday night into Saturday morning. Now, if we get into Friday night, we see the swell pick up a little bit to 2 feet, and this is coming from the National Weather Service prediction wave prediction near wave prediction center, and we look at this product. If we look now, one thing I do want to talk about real quick is the fact that we're not using technically Wave Watch 3 anymore. So what you're seeing in the products and apps is really GFS. So if you see here, we see it's called GFS Wave, and it's coupled to the Global Forecasting System, or GFS version 16. It's part of the Unified Forecast System. So that's what's changed as of March, is it's no longer called WW3 per se. You may see that in the products where it's still actually labeled that, but the technical term for it is GFS Wave. Now, if we pick a point, we go into the area, and well, I'm going to pick an offshore point here to go with because I want to see what the forecast is. And we can see here this green line right here represents the GFS wave 10. This is the arc through minute. And then the other line is the near shore wave prediction system. So there's a couple of different forecasts going on here. And mainly what it says for the 18th is right around 2.5 feet offshore, maybe even 3 feet according to the NWPS. So we got about 2.5 to 3 feet in green there with a period of about 6 to 7 seconds all through the day Friday, and then into Friday night. We may increase that period overnight. The further offshore you are, we may get up to 8 to 10 seconds. Still a wind swell, not quite a ground swell until you get past the 10-second mark. But then swell heights do start to rise a little bit as we get into Saturday. So just be aware of that as you're going into the morning Saturday. You may see some swell height out there, increase to wave 3, maybe edging up towards 4 feet, but nothing to be extremely that concerned about. It is a short period swell, so it could get a little rough. Just understand that it's guided only if the winds come up really high. Wave direction about southeast as you get started on the day, and then backing more of a southerly flow as we get into the night. So that's pretty much it for the swell. Sea surface temperatures in the low 80s right now, maybe upper 70s just offshore. Air temperatures are going to be pretty much upper 80s to low 90s every day through the week. And it looks like a really nice race. Some good winds to hold through and even get through the night. And some westerly flow to come back with. Maybe a little bit challenging to get through the jetties with because that's heading directly in headwind as you're coming in. But maybe we'll get lucky in the morning on the return through the jetties, and you'll have a southwest flow, at least something to angle or bank against. But other than that, that's going to complete the forecast. I'll see everybody at the Skippers meeting tomorrow night, and bring your questions then. And if anything else, you guys stay safe, and I'll see you then. Thank you.